Ipipilit nila na si Boying maging ombudsman para ipakulong si VP Inday Sara bago mag-2027.
Marahil, andyan na yan eh. Actually, nandiyan na naman sa ombudsman ang mga report na yan. At bubuknatin natin. Pag-aaralan at tatanungin natin yung mga may hawak doon ngayon. Mga may hawak at yung may tungkulin na hawakan ng mga kasong yon bago tayo dumating.
Huwag na niya silipin. Huwag na niya silipin, no? Ilagay na niya sa harap niya at pag-aralan na niya ng maayos kung ano man yung gusto niyang gawin. Ipagpasa Diyos na lang natin siya at kanyang mga gagawin bilang ombudsman.
Pabor ka ba na talaga siyang ombudsman sa kanyang pwesto ngayon?
Kung ako ang presidente, hindi siya ang i-appoint ko na ombudsman.
Pwede. Ano yun eh, public information na yun eh, hinahanap natin. When we talk about transparency, let's go on the way. Go on the way.
Just to be very specific, sir, Ex-President Duterte, sa akin yung views na
Lahat yan. Pati kami. Kasama kami dyan.
ang PBBM.
Oo, kasama kami dyan. Kasama kami lahat.
So, first of all, nag-file nga ho kayo ng kaso laban kay Justice Secretary Boying Remulla then, na ngayon po ay ombudsman na. What will happen to that? Magiging moot ho ba yun?
No. It will remain pending before the Supreme Court. And as you know, I was not the one who filed it. I was acting as the lawyer of the complainant who happened to be the family of the Duterte. And specifically, it was acting Mayor Sebastian Baste Duterte, who is the private complainant in that case, or who is rather the complainant in that case. And even if he is already the ombudsman now, that case will continue because that appertains to his action as a lawyer. We are attacking his license as a lawyer. Yun
Opo.
po ang mangyayari po dun.
Ano ho yung, so basically, it's an active case, kahit na po ombudsman na si Attorney Boying Remulla. For the benefit of the people watching, sabihin po natin, i-disbar siya. Sabihin po pumanig ang Korte Suprema dito sa petisyon ni Baste Duterte. What happens? How does that affect his role as ombudsman?
Well, if you will check Section 8 of Article 11 of the 1987 Constitution, one of the requirements is that he must be a member of the Philippine Bar and that he must have been in the practice of law for 10 years, no? So if he is no longer a lawyer, then that would disqualify him as an ombudsman. So if the Supreme Court would decide that his action would, or his actions rather in the past, I would not comment on the specifics of it because it is what you call this confidential in nature, but I'm just discussing the effects or consequence if he would be disbarred, then he would no longer qualify as an ombudsman because it is a continuing requirement. But what we will actually do, subject to the order of our client or request of our client, and supposedly tonight we have a meeting, but it was moved tomorrow. We will still question his appointment as an ombudsman. There is a quarrel as to whether or not it is a petition for quo warranto or certiorari. We will decide that by tomorrow, and we will definitely file that petition before the Supreme Court.
Ano ho yung basihan ng posibleng quo warranto o certiorari laban dito sa pagtalaga?
Quo warranto may not be the proper remedy to my mind. No? Of course, that is subject also to a discussion with my fellow lawyers who are handling the case. Because under Rule 66 of the Rules of Court, specifically Section 1 thereof, it mandates that it will be the Office of the Solicitor General who should file the same. Or if not, it would be under Section 5, the person who has a clear legal right of the possession. But I don't expect anyone who was not appointed, which was included in the list, short list, there were 7. I don't think any of the 6 would be willing to file that petition for quo warranto. And I don't think that the Solicitor General likewise under Rule 66 would file that petition. So we have another option, and I believe that under Article 8, Section 1 of the 1987 Constitution, a petition for certiorari may be appropriate in questioning his being shortlisted by the Judicial and Bar Council. So,
Attorney-
that would be maybe the tenor of the petition.
Ano ho ba para sa kaalaman natin ang petition for certiorari? At bakit ho ito
Petition for
posibleng...
certiorari, sa mga estudyante po ng batas, any branch of the government can be questioned under the expanded concept. Maski executive department yan, supposedly under Rule 65, judicial or quasi-judicial functions lang ang covered. Pero kung ibase mo dito under Article 8, Section 1, expanded na po yung konsepto po ng certiorari. So kung any branch, even the executive department of the government, would commit grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction, then it can be subjected to a certiorari proceeding
see.
under Article 8, Section 1. Pwede na yan i-question sa Supreme Court.
And who is going to be guilty of this grave abuse of discretion?
Well, the JBC, including the Ombudsman for issuing the, the clearance, even if we filed a complaint last September 15, and there was an order to undocket the case on September 16, tapos si Acting Ombudsman Vargas perhaps realized that there was a May 5, 2025 memorandum order of then Ombudsman Martires ordering twin docketing of criminal administrative cases. On September 17, he issued a office order which provided for retroactive effect, tapos 10 days lang. Selective pang pagka-undocket kasi yung final ni Secretary Vince Dizon noong September 11 against DPWH officials at meron pang preventive suspension, hindi na undocket. Paano nangyari yun? Yung COA fraud report which was filed on September 7, hindi rin na-undocket. Yung sa amin lang yung in-undocket. So it was a clear abuse of discretion amounting to lack or excess of jurisdiction.
Pero
Ngayon lang
dalawa
yan.
po, Attorney Torion, two people, I mean two groups. One would be the acting ombudsman, yung former acting ombudsman, and the
Yes.
JBC.
Yes, and the JBC for including him in the shortlist, even if we wrote a letter informing them that we already filed criminal administrative complaints against against Remulla.
Against then Justice Secretary Boying Remulla.
Yes.
So yung petition for certiorari, you plan to file this possibly tomorrow or maybe next week?
Depende po yan sa kliyente namin.
Okay.
Depende po sa kliyente namin. Siya kasi ang mag-decide niyan, hindi
And
po ako.
ang kliyente niyo po si Acting Mayor
Acting Mayor Sebastian
Baste.
Duterte.
All right. So it will be up to him. So to be clear, attorney, ito ho bang pag-file ng mga motion or kaso laban kay Ombudsman Boying Remulla, is it really to prevent him from being
No.
chosen as the
No,
ombudsman?
consequence lang po yun. Offshoot lang po yun. Kasi yung pag-kidnap kay Tatay Digong, honestly, the next day noon may mga criminal cases na akong na-prepare, no? At saka admin case. Pero at that time, hindi pa po ready yung Duterte family to file criminal and admin cases, no? But one of them told me, just prepare and we will just decide later on. So, nakahanging lang po yun. And then, lately, nag-decide na yung pamilya through Acting Mayor Sebastian Duterte na mag-file na. Kaya, final namin yung criminal and admin cases last September 15. And the option to file such criminal administrative cases as well as disbarment cases lies with the family because kidnapping cases has a long prescriptive period under Article 90 of the Revised Penal Code.
How long
Within
is
the
the-
20-year period, pwede nila i-file yan. Sa kanila
20?
kasi yun eh.
20, did you say 20-year period, prescriptive period?
20-year period kung grave offenses po yun.
Attorney, any reaction by the family, on behalf of the family, dito po sa pagtalaga kay Boying Remulla as ombudsman?
Well, makikita naman doon sa interview ata ni VP Sara, hindi sila masaya. Oo, hindi sila masaya. Yun lang po.
And sa mga nagtanong po sa media, kay Ombudsman Boying Remulla, ano yung mga kailangan niyang unahin at least natingnan dito sa mga binbin na reklamo before the Office of the Ombudsman. There were two that are being mentioned, sir. Care to react? One is the formally issue, and the other one is the confidential funds of Vice President Sara Duterte. Go ahead,
Pero
sir.
ang pagkasabi nga ma'am, yung SALN daw niya ang titingnan kaagad nung first interview niya. Later na lang yung formally. Yung first interview niya, titingnan daw yung yung SALN daw ni VP Sara. Sa kadami-dami naman natin ang problema, yung fund control issue, no? Na trilyones na yung problema natin, yung pang SALN ni VP Sara yung uunahin niya. Para may problema ata tayo dito. Yung sa formally, well, it may be a legitimate issue. He can go against it because we do not tolerate or condone corruption. If there is indeed corruption dun, imbestigahan niya. Pero sana maging fair siya because under the 1987 Constitution, he is supposedly the protector of the people, no? And he should investigate yung pinakagrabe po na nangyari po dito sa ating bansa. Yung yung flood control issue. Dapat doon siya tututok. Kasi yun talaga sana yung mandate niya. Protector siya ng people. Grabe yung nanggawa sa atin na kaguluhan at grabe yung sakit na nararanasan ng mga Pilipino dahil sa continuous na pagbaha. Sana maging fair siya because one of the requirements of an ombudsman is recognize probity and independence. So this is his golden chance to prove that he is in fact independent-minded and that he would go against corrupt people really and not to make his office as an office of persecution and harassment against the political opponents.
Is there any concern that the Office of the Ombudsman under Boying Remulla might not be fair, might not be neutral, or might be even be biased? Meron ho bang ganon? Meron ho bang concern?
Ako personally, pwede ako makasabi may concern kasi nangyari yan sa akin sa kaso doon ni Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy Kasi yung sa kaso ni Pastor, medyo masabi mo talaga na kasi na-dismiss na yung kaso, bigla na lang binuhay after nung investigation ni Senator Hontiveros. And more than 3 years na yung natutulog, yung petition pa nga, defective pa nga, dapat ma-dismiss yun ordinarily, binuhay niya, and then in less than 1 week, may warrant na si Pastor. Yung MR namin, motion for reconsideration, hanggang ngayon, hindi niya i-rule, kasi sa tingin namin, kung i-rule niya, pwede na kami mag-certiorari doon sa, sa Court of Appeals, sa alleging grave abuse of discretion on his part. Hindi niya inaksyonan yun hanggang ngayon. So ako personally, I cannot speak for the Duterte family, pero yung yung kanyang action in the past, may concern ako.
Last question, Attorney Torion. Last I heard, your client, Pastor Apollo Kibuloy, ay nagkaroon po ng pneumonia at inilabas sa Pasig City Jail and was in a hospital that was not identified. At least I didn't see which hospital that was. Where is he now? Is he back in...
He is still in the hospital po kasi medyo mainit talaga din doon sa sa Pasig City Jail. Although mababait yung mga BJMP officers po doon. No, pero wala tayong magawa. Medyo marami masyadong preso doon. Kaya it has really affected the health of my client. And right now, he is recuperating in the hospital po.
And how long has it been? It's been about 3 weeks, huh?
I was not able to count exactly, but he is still in the hospital ngayon po.
And is he getting better?
Pagpunta ko po sa kanya kahapon ba yun or last matagal kami nag-usap 2 days ago to be exact, or was it yesterday? Umuubo pa po si Pastor Apollo Sikibuloy, necessitating his continued stay in the hospital.
Sir, any specific case na gusto niyo pong unahin?
I think that this is an emergency situation pagdating sa nangyari sa DPWH. I think that we have to concentrate on that, do case build-up, and make sure that a very well-prepared case or cases are filed before the Sandigan Bayan and the RTCs, whichever the case may be.
Sir, nire-request po ni Senator Gordon na buksan niyo po ulit, silipin niyo raw po ulit yung issue po ng Parmalee?
Sisilipin natin yan kasi nga parang nalimutan na ibang salimot, pero hindi dapat makalimutan talaga itong mga ganitong kaso. Kasi alam natin, mabigat ang alingaw-ngaw at marami nagsasabi na may nangyari nga masama doon, may naging pag-delay ng Senado, ngunit hindi na umandar mula doon. Ito na kailangan bisitahin natin.
Sir, may mga sinasabi din po si Senator Bato de la Rosa na nakarating sa kanya na ang una niyo raw pong gagawin, isa ay yung ilabas doon po yung SALE ni VP Sara Duterte.
Hindi, ano natin, ang gagawin natin dyan sa SALN issue, hindi lang isa yan, lahat yan i-redact lang natin yung dapat i-redact dahil sa data privacy. Tapos, syempre, hihingi tayo sa lahat ng requesting parties undertaking na hindi gagamitin ito sa paraan na hindi makakabuti sa bayan. Kasi baka mamaya maging political noise lang yan at maging poison lang. Baka naman dapat pag-isipan natin ito yan. Kaya, with kasi information is power, di ba? Pero with great power comes great responsibility. Dapat responsible tayo sa information na makukuha natin.
Sir, sinabi niyo na po ito, pero ano pong assurance yung makukuha po ng publiko po sa inyo?
Makukuha yan, hindi tatagal ang panahon. Inaayos ko lang talaga, pinag-iisipan lang at pag-uusapan pa ng kaunti pa yung mga patakaran na gagawin natin sa pag-release ng information. Sorry?
Sir, kayo po ay from a family of politicians. Yung mga anak niyo po ay nakapwesto din po sa gobyerno. Paano naman daw po, sir, kung yung mga anak niyo po or part of the family, friends, kaalyado ay masukot po sa mga issue po ng katiwalian? Paano niyo po ito haharapin?
Yung mga anak ko, pinalaki namin niya ng asawa ko na maayos na tao. At alam nila na pagkatapos nila, nagkatrabaho talaga. They know about it. Kaya ako, hindi ako natatakot na meron sila gagawin na masama kasi I think that we raised them very well. Pero just the same, pagka merong problema, isabihin lang at harapin natin ang mga problema.
Secretary, maingay pa rin po yung mga critics sa pagkakaroon. Do you have a message for them?
Ganun talaga kasi they operate in a political sphere. Ako ay operate in a legal sphere. So, ito para sa taong bayan to. So let's all work for the country. Kahit ano ba ang political leanings mo, let's work for the country.
Sir, yung sa Parmalee ba, yung complaint yung kaso pwedeng mag-extend up to the former president?
Hindi ko pa alam. Actually, hindi ko sinundan masyado yan, yung hearings na yan. Pero of course, napag-uusapan yan sa ibang mga forum na nakasama ako. Siyempre, we are aware of what happened in so many ways. Ang responsibility niyan will always depend on the evidence. Lagi evidence yan.
Pero pwedeng mag-extend sa mas mataas pang posisyon?
Siyempre. Ano yan hanggang saan na tayo abutin ang ebidensya kung tayo tuturo.
Sir, dun sa flood control, since wala pong napapay na kayo, so mapaproprio po yung gagawin dun sa flood control projects?
Hindi, yun nga. Kahapon, nag-meeting kami for the last time, yung mga DOJ people, mga USEX, ASEX, the Prosecutor General. Pinag-usapan namin yan. At kaya, yung game plan ay nandun na. Kasi, ang talagang gusto natin gawin, ulitin ko, kompleto ang ebidensya, pag final, ready for trial, at hihingi tayo, kanina pinag-usapan namin ni Senior Associate Justice Leonel, na continuous trial talaga, para wala nang delaying tactics na pwedeng umiral na matulog ng matagal itong mga kaso ito. Kailangan dito tuloy-tuloy ang daloy ng kaso.
So, sir, yung mga nasimulan nila dito, dahil po na lang sa mga
Ganon. Nasimulan na dito, pero yung iba kasi niyan, pag kagaya niyan, assistant district engineer, saklaw pa yan sa memorandum of agreement, saklaw pa yan ng DOJ, tututusin. Kaya lang, pag yung mga John Doe na identify na mas mataas, salary grade 27 and above, sa legal tayo niyan. Pero, given the powers of the Ombudsman, we can always ask special teams to prosecute pag kinakailangan.
You mentioned it already na aside from prosecutorial powers, the Ombudsman is also kailangan din niya maggawa ng recommendation for efficient service.
Ano yan?
May idea na.
Example ko sa inyo dyan, public utilities, regulatory capture. Ngayon pa lang, sasabihin na natin, yung mga telco, iayos nila yung kanilang sistema para pwede natin mahuli lahat ng gumagawa at nagbumibili, nakikihalahok sa child pornography. Ano yan eh? Telco lang kasi ayaw nila ilabas ang standard ng IPv6 sa kanilang mga sistema. IPv6 means every instrument used sa lahat ng krimen, sa child pornography at sa sexual exploitation o sa cases, kinakailangan talaga itaasan nila yung patayan na para anong instrumento makakahabol natin. Hindi pwede yung gano'n na lang, tipid dyan sila ng tipid. Ang tao naman ang nahihirapan. At yung mga accountability ng mga regulatory agencies, sisikipan din natin para naman maging maayos ang buhay ng mga Pilipino.
Sir, sa flood control, may timeline po ba yung umpos na kung kailan makapag-file sa certificate?
Ang timeline niya, syempre, on the evidence pa rin. Pero marami na naman kami nakukuha na evidence. Talagang sisikapin lang namin na mabuo ng gusto. Kasi nga ayaw namin na kami maging cost and delay. So, ang timeline niya will depend on that. Pero malamang yan, within the next few weeks, pag nag-file kami, ready kami for trial. So, PI na lang yan, preliminary investigation nila. Pero, tuloy-tuloy yan.
Batch by batch po ba yung pagsasama ng kaso or parang isang grupo?
As they're ready, we will file them. Ano to eh, the deadline is yesterday, so we have to do it every day if we have to.
So you mentioned that gusto nyo magkaroon ng ombudsman's marshal. Ano po yun at ano po yung magiging trabaho mo?
Hindi kasi, parang Supreme Court may sariling judicial marshals. Ganon din sa ombudsman kasi nga, kailangan pangalagaan ang testigo. Kasi ngayon, we have to rely on the DOJ for witness protection. Una-una yan. Pangalawa yung security ng documents, lahat ng information na nasa loob ng Ombudsman's Office. Ang problema kasi dyan, pag nawawala ang ebidensya, anong kaso ang mananalo? Hindi pwedeng mawala ang ebidensya.
Sir, ano na lang po yung mensahe niyo po sa mga tiwali at korap sa gobyerno?
Ngayon talaga, ibang standard ang lalagay natin dito. At wala tayong sisiluhin. Pag may dumating na informasyon na dapat imbestigahan natin, tatawagin natin lahat na merong poder para mag-disclose ng information tungkol sa mga kasong pinafile. Pagkagamitin natin ang informasyon sa korte para usigin yung mga lalabag sa batas at magmamalabis sa kanilang mga responsibilidad.
Sir, tanong po lang ulit po sa flash control. Uunahin nila po yung mga senador at mga contractor.
Hindi, ang concern natin dyan yung fielding the case. Hindi sino, pero anong kaso? Anong ebidensya? Kaya everybody comes in there. Kaya wala ho tayong sinisino rito. Kung mataas man o mababa, pero sisiguraduhin natin yung ebidensya nakatuon pag-file natin ang kaso. So kahit mataas yan, kahit umabot na sila doon yan, kung maabuti yan, gagawin natin.
So sir, kahit na mag-atak po sa Pangulo, talaga po sa
Wala naman tayong choice dito, yun ang ebidensya. Pwede ba natin i-deny ang ebidensya? Kung merong ebidensya, yun ang talagang hamon sa atin dito to produce the evidence. And I'll tell people, ika-crowdsource ko, pati mayroon information kayo, we will find a way for you to get to us, for us to get to you, to secure information. Kasi, maliit na yung mundo natin sa digital world, we can get information from the public, gaya na nangyayari ngayon. And it will be of great value, because it will help us secure convictions in the nearest possible time.
Sir, nakapag-recommend na po kayo kay Pangulo
Mag-uusap pa kami, pero I have somebody in mind today.
Sir, marching order na lang po.
Wala siyang marching order sa akin. Sabi niya nga, ayusin natin itong busog na to. Kasi nga, it's a mess. Ito kung nangyari ito, it's a mess, di ba? Kailangan ayusin natin ito. We have to figure out how to get out of this as a better country than anything else.
Sir, marami pong nagsasabi na takot sila sa inyo or statement nila is yung statement niyo raw po pala na bending the law. Baka pwede niyo pong
Bending the law but not breaking the law. Diba? Ano yan eh? It's a figure of speech. That is the entitlement of the senator who asked me that question. But I made sure that he's not asking me to break the law. Okay? Thank you.